somewhere.
starting, Keith.
You're here somewhere. I don't know where the hell I am.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Morning Sports Podcast. I am BA along here with James J. Trey Martin, Keith Engel, and Jack Hurst. I hope you gentlemen are having a wonderful Sunday morning. Just a programming note. This show will change to the Big Football Show, and that'll be starting on September the 5th. It'll be an hour start, and then after that, it'll go to 2 hours as of September the 12th, I believe. So look forward to that. Let's see. It's sports day in America every day, but today is preseason. Yesterday, let's get to a little bit of baseball before we get into a little bit of football here, because baseball's heating up. Things are going different ways. Tariq Skubal gets his first win as a Dodger. Fan in 11. It's the Dodgers' 5th straight win. The question I want to ask is, are the Dodgers starting to put it together again? I'm going to ask Jack, because Jack is a Dodgers lover.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Dodgers, we know how good they are. They had that little bump in the road where they had their losing streak. We know what the Dodgers are about. We know their personnel. It's really whoever's playing well come playoff time. For whatever reason, teams hit a bump. Teams could have a great regular season record. And the Dodgers look like they're going to be in a position to get a bye, meaning they'll have to win 2 rounds to get to the World Series instead of 3. Dodgers are locked and loaded. I mean, they're beatable. Any baseball team is beatable. But the Dodgers are the clear favorites to three-peat.
Yeah, Dodgers are won 5 in a row, right? And now I'll start hearing today, I'm sure, that they're ruining baseball. It's only a matter of time before I hear it on my show today.
Yes.
It doesn't matter that they just lost 7 in a row. It matters now that they're ruining baseball because they don't even have the best record in baseball. I mean, this team is beatable. Are they getting it together? Should they be the favorite? Yeah. Doesn't mean they're, head and shoulders above everybody else.
Well, it'll come down to if the Dodgers starting pitching, is really at the top of their game. Ohtani, Blake Snell, and company. Their 5-man rotation, Skubal.
But Ohtani's no guarantee. Ohtani's no guarantee. He hasn't even pitched in 2 months. So
yeah, but he'll be ready come playoff time.
They lost another starting pitcher.
If you get to the Dodger bullpen, Edwin Diaz has kind of struggled a bit this year. And, you have a chance. You have a chance with the Dodgers. It depends, which team steps up at that time. Look, we had the Red Sox not long ago. They were virtually unbeatable for a full month. And I kept saying, if this were the playoffs starting and the Red Sox were playing this way, they would beat any team, for that short window of time. But the Dodgers are ready come playoff time. But there's a little bit of a caution. They might be a little long in the tooth, maybe, because Mookie Betts isn't the player he was. Freddie Freeman has had a good year, but he's a little bit of an older player. Maybe he hits a wall. Kyle Tucker's been a big disappointment. But if Kyle Tucker puts it together playoff time, then it erases this year that he struggled a bit. So, I mean, the Dodgers aren't unbeatable, but they're the clear favorites to win it all.
I really need Jack's barometer of what's disappointing, because Kyle Tucker is just a bit disappointing, but Edwin Diaz is only a bit disappointing. he blows the saves every other day or more.
But that
He's
happened with the
horrible.
Mets a few years ago. He was awful, couldn't get anyone out, and then he bounced back.
Okay, well, let's
We've been through this with Edwin Diaz before.
let's hang on that. You know, he had a horrible year with the Mets, yes, and he had a great year. He's been horrible all this year when he wasn't hurt. Again, the Dodgers are still the favorite, but they're not. They're imminently beatable, for sure. I mean, the Brewers have the best record in baseball. I keep saying with the 19th highest payroll, by the way. So all these, you know, all these doomsdayers who say the Dodgers are ruining baseball are just need to shut up.
I agree with you, Keith, to some degree in that regard, but I do recall you saying that the Brewers probably they'll probably blow it. You sound like the guy from Major League that they're going to blow it in the playoffs.
You do have to go and prove it because they haven't proved it in October and they've had great teams before. So,
but bringing this up in regards to what you said about when you get on your show, you're going to hear it about people saying they're ruining baseball. There's always. What's the second best? I mean, what's the first best movie in the trilogy of Star Wars?
Oh, The Empire Strikes Back.
Exactly. I knew you were going to say. I knew you knew it. The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire is always going to strike. There's always going to be a team that everybody's going to view as the Galactic Empire. And right now, this team in this era are the Dodgers. I mean, you got your team. The Yankees was one. The Yankees were one. The Patriots, two of your teams were one. So it's just what it is. I think people are just going to love to hate your team. It is what it is when you're good. When you're on top, the only way to go on you on top of the mountain, the only way to go is down. And somebody's going to try to push you. Many are going to try to push you off that ledge. And so it's just what it is. Haters will hate. That's all I can say.
And the response to this White Sox question here.
I'm going to hold you to that line, James.
For sure.
I mean, hey, if you could get, it's a good home run hitting team, and they do strike out a lot. I mean, selfishness. Hey, if it gets you wins, it's all that counts. So,
they're the epitome of today's baseball. The three true outcomes: home runs, strikeouts, and walks. And this team's hitting about 229, but they got a boatload of home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And they sit and wait for 3-run home runs, and teams don't worry about strikeouts anymore. I think they've got 3 guys that are going to strike out pretty close to 200 times this year. But they're winning. They're winning their division. I think it partly probably shows you how bad the American League is. The Central and the West specifically.
But Keith lived a little in the past. He talked about pennant races, Keith.
I'm old, Jack. I'm not young like you.
Pennant race. 9 games ahead of San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Yankees, some bad news came out there. Giancarlo Stanton has strained his left calf and may not return for the remainder of the 2026
How do you do that?
campaign.
Stepping off the curb? This guy, he gets hurt when he's hurt.
What is this going to do to the Yankees lineup, though? I mean, you already
gives Aaron Boone. It gives him one less headache. Okay, figuring things out. He's going to have to keep a number of guys on the bench as is. And if Stanton came back, we don't know what Stanton would be in the beginning. He might be a little rusty. So what were they going to do at first base? Luis Garcia, if they played him there, then Ben Rice was going to DH or vice versa. So what were they going to do with Stanton? Someone was going to have to sit, and that would probably be Luis Garcia, who's been having a decent year, a really top-of-the-line hitter who they got from the Washington Nationals. Are they going to sit him for Stanton? And there are other guys, too, who are going to have to all of a sudden sit. Spencer Jones, the touted rookie, he's going to have to sit when Bellinger and Judge come back. There's not going to be any space for him in the lineup. So not having Stanton there, I'm not saying makes Boone happy, but believe me, it's not a problem. It actually makes Boone's job a little easier, believe it or not.
He's not the most important guy they need back. Bellinger's going to, I believe, start a rehab assignment here this week, I hope. But Judge is still up in the air. I mean, they can tell me all they want about him hitting and him running. Until I see him in the lineup, and he's got an injury that will be very easy to. It's going to, first of all, probably still impact his, how healthy he really is, and he could get re-injured very easily. So
But
this team, they could have used Stan as a plan B. But I'm not a big.
he could have been a pinch hit or whatever. But Judge is the one guy you don't mess around with. Judge could come back and go 0 for 23, and you're not going to consider benching him unless he's hurt. As long as he can play, you allow him to work the rust off, even if it takes the whole season and it never happens. He's in the lineup, case closed.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
But
but with Stanton, he would have to hit the ground running if he came back. If he might still come back at the end of September, and you never know. They might put him in the lineup, and he might go 5 for 8 and hit 3 home runs off the bat. And now they put him on the postseason roster.
If he hit the ground running, he'd just get hurt, Jack. So that would.
Yeah.
Trip over.
It's unfortunate. He had 2 more years on his contract after next year. I kind of wonder, will he be back with the team next year, even if he's healthy?
I've told you I'd eat that money for the last 3 years. I know it's not my money too, Jack, but they've got plenty of money.
So, I mean, with these injuries to the Yankees lineup, do you still see them as contending for a World Series?
Well,
definitely.
yes, because the American League is so weak, by the way. That's why, right? But we also got pitching issues. Ryan Weathers, who's thrown well the last 3 times out, gets hurt yesterday. Listen, and we don't know about Rendon. So their pitching is not as deep as you like to think. So, and that's what's going to carry them. If they win, it's going to be that starting pitching.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking too.
I mean, to put it in perspective, if the Yankees were in the Dodgers division, they'd be 5.5 games behind the Dodgers. So it's not like the Yankees are having this awful year because the American League is so weak. They're going to back into the playoffs.
To Keith, it might be an awful year.
Jack, if they were in the National League West playing National League teams all year, they wouldn't be 5.5 games back. They'd probably be about 10 back. Because they haven't had as hard a schedule as, say, the Dodgers or the Brewers or the Braves.
That's true.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know
There's
that.
a lot of weak sisters in the American League. Look at we do know that.
Jack, the Yankee optimist.
Maybe that's parity there too. You could, consider that factor.
That's a stretch when you say parity. I mean, that many teams, that's hard to say.
4 teams over 500 in the American League. 4 teams. That's not good. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's not a bit awful either, Jack. That's 100% terribly awful.
It's kind of like the division, in the NFC with the Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina. I mean, I don't know how they'll do this year for sure. But, if you go 8-9, you're in contention to the very end and might even win the division the last number of years.
That's not one division. It's not one division, though. The entire league is awful in the American League.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of
except for 4 teams.
Yuck.
Who are just above awful.
Well, when you can call out 4 teams in a league,
Yeah. But those 4 teams get to play the other. Those 4 teams get to play the other
crappy teams that are going to match get in there. Yeah.
All year.
Well, I mean, in the American League right now, we got the Rays, White Sox, and the Astros leading their divisions. The wild cards right now are the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rangers. So, Rangers.
It's about winning the division. It's getting it. Yankees badly want to win the division, and the Rays badly want to hold on because whoever wins the division gets a bye. So that means they have 2 rounds in the playoffs to get to the World Series instead of 3. You add an extra round, it hurts your chances of getting to the World Series because even if you win your first round matchup, you're using your pitching staff in certain ways. It affects you the other rounds. So getting that bye is really invaluable. In all sports, getting the bye. I mean, in the NFL, to me, it's really big getting the bye, playing one less game. It's a big thing. I mean, teams go on a run and they get to the championship series anyway. I get all that. But to me, it's very important. You get a bye. You've won that series. You've won a series without playing it.
Here's the thing. I'm going to agree with Jack because he's 100% right. The Yankees winning the division is imperative. They really need to cut that one series out. But Jack, you also argue the other side of this all the time. That all you need to do is get in. All you need to do is get in.
Oh, any team can win it. I mean, any team can win it. We've seen it.
But there's a huge advantage to winning your division.
I had an argument with a Tiger fan about this the other day because, they got so many days and they can make the wild card in the playoff. I said, do you really want to see the Tigers at this point be in the playoffs? They're not going to do anything better. It's just not going to happen. Some teams you can see that
going to be playing at this
time. They're going to stink.
You don't know that.
You could tell right now. They lost a series against the White Sox, and since that point, they have been 3-7 since then. They suck.
Right after
actually 2-8 because they lost last night.
Right after trading Skubal, they played really well for a couple of weeks, and had that been a playoff round, maybe they would have beaten the other team they would have been playing in that one particular playoff round. And you win one playoff round, let's see what happens after.
32 years of wild card, I believe. 7 wild card teams.
Forgets 2006. He forgets that year.
1994.
Completely apart for a couple of months at the end of the season.
They were
as bad as could be. And then the playoffs begin. They lost the division lead. And they back as a wild card, and then they go to the World Series. 2006.
Again, 32 years have been wild cards. 7 wild card teams have won the World Series, and probably 5 of those were when there was one wild card, not 3.
You've been hanging out with James. It seems you're becoming a stat guy like him.
No, I'm giving you actual numbers. These are real numbers of teams that have actually won. Jack, give me one team that finished 500 and won the World Series. Give me one. All of those teams that won World Series and wild cards were really good baseball.
The third wild card team this season is probably going to be better than 500. They're under 500 now. They're in contention, but when all is said and done, the third wild card team will step up and be a little over 500. The 1973 Mets was struggling under 500. They finished only 3 games over 500, and they went to the World Series and came one game away from winning it.
They won their division. There was only 2 teams that made the playoffs from the National League that year. That's really not a great argument. You give me one wild card that finished a couple games over 500 or 5 games over 500 that won the World Series or got to the World Series. None. Not one. So these teams don't really have
the Mets were division winner, technically speaking. Yeah, they didn't have the wild card at that time.
Right. Yeah. And they got to see at the right time. Now, you're right. They went on a good run, right? But that's
a team, that doesn't make sense what you're saying, because the final wild card spot, the team that gets it, they're going to be playing better from this point on. So they're not going to be under 500.
Playing better against teams that are worse than
ending today. A couple of teams are going to take off somewhat. They're going to put some wins together.
Brian, save this recording just so that we can play it back in November.
Save clip. Yeah, I mean, right now the Rangers are 2 games under 500 in a wild card spot. So,
but they're going to finish 10 games. They're going to finish 10 games over, Brian. They're going to get hot.
Sure. Well, we don't know which team's going to emerge from the third wild card position. I mean, look at the
American League sucks. That's why.
Done early in the year.
You tell me which team. On them. Tell me which team that's got a chance to finish third in the wild card in the American League has got any chance to get to the World Series.
The Toronto Blue Jays. They're 3 games under. They got there last year.
I would give you that as the best shot. Yes, that's probably the best shot. And
Seattle Mariners are 6 games under 500. They came a game away from getting there last year. Blew a 3-1 lead.
How many home runs did
I
a
mean-
catcher hit last year compared to this year? He's hitting a
Well,
$150. That guy.
but if they put it together, not the way teams are playing now, if they put it, I gave you two teams with the potential of putting together. And those are the two teams that played in the American League Championship Series last year. They're both under 500 now. We know they're better than that.
So we played almost 5 months of baseball, and where's the evidence any of those teams are going to get hot in the last 30 days?
Aha. Aha.
I love Jack.
You know
I love Jack and his wishbone
Yeah,
star mentality.
There's
I
no
love that.
evidence they would be this bad at this point of the season either.
What?
You know what? Don't get on Jack. Jack is always the
I'm not getting on Jack. We have to think.
The cup is half full thing with Jack. You know,
He's
looks at
the optimistic
He's
optimistic.
the optimistic
I'm not
optimist.
optimistic.
Yes.
I'm just telling you the way things pan out. There's going to be one or two teams that are going to suddenly take off. Like we had a few years ago, the Arizona Diamondbacks. No one thought they'd get to the World Series, except Mac when they were one game away from getting to the World Series. He predicted they would get there.
Oh,
Okay.
you're taking shots at Mac. Now that's not
Mac's
true.
listening. He's listening up there at the show. You
Yeah,
know?
he's looking for the mute button. He's looking for the mute button.
You
up
don't
there.
walk outside.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
Don't
that
walk
fun with
outside
Mac.
today.
I still love that fun with Mac. So, because I know he's listening in.
It could happen. I mean, yeah, it could happen.
Well, I agree with
I'm a
Keith
millionaire
regarding
over here,
facts. If he's presenting numbers, it's just hard to argue against that, Jack.
Well, even in football, years ago, I think the year the Bears lost to the Colts in the Super Bowl, to Peyton Manning's Colts, Seattle was 7-9. They were terrible. And then they win one playoff game. The first playoff game they
Against
won.
the Saints in 2010, yeah.
Oh, okay, I forgot that. And the
I
second
bet you
game,
did
as I
forget that.
recall, that they lost, they were competitive. They were competitive. And even the Buccaneers, losing every year in the playoffs with their mediocre records, they're competitive, meaning they came in with at least a puncher's chance in there in the playoffs.
But that being said, Jack, is that more so the rule or an exception?
No,
I
no,
mean,
hey,
would you-
listen.
Ding, ding,
Super
ding,
Bowl,
ding.
Giants 9-7 beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Hey, what?
The Packers
What?
with Aaron Rodgers, I think, kind of not backed in. They got hot at the end. They put it together, some wins. Teams do that. I mean, my only point is I don't know which team it's going to be. There's probably going to be a couple of them, more than one. But there's going to be at least one team under 500 playing really poorly that's all of a sudden going to take off. And they're going to make the playoffs, and all of a sudden they're going to be, they're going to be a threat. But with that said, it's going to be the Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series again. But, I wouldn't discount these teams. I wouldn't have your attitude, bro. Your friend is right. Again, the hating on your own team, the Tigers, that, who cares if they make the playoffs? They can't do anything. Don't waste our time. I mean,
Hold
look,
on.
you were so
That's
hard
not
on
hating. How is that hating?
First of all, if you know your team, you know your team.
And then they choked in the playoffs.
And if you know your team, Jack,
again-
you know your team. That's the point. They
Yes.
have not shown me anything that's going to tell me that they're going to win a wild card spot. One,
Exactly.
and if they get into it, if they're going to beat a team. They have not showed me that. They have.
He's
folded
saying, Jack, he
over the
doesn't want to
last
waste his
10
time
games. Right.
in false dreams and fairy tales and magic dust and different things that you're putting out there with the ifs. You put out a lot of ifs. Remember that if we're fifths,
Yeah.
we're all sitting up here stoned and high because we're drunk.
And it's not hating on your team. It's not hating on your team. It's not wearing rose-colored glasses. But if you were to get into the playoffs, you wouldn't be rooting for them to lose,
No,
right?
obviously not.
As much as I think the Yankees have flaws, I never root for them to lose. I want to be wrong all the time about my team when I'm down on them.
Right.
I don't need to be right.
I mean,
And when did the Patriots
You're right.
lose to
Any
the
team can
Kings?
catch hellfire, but
I don't remember these. When did the Patriots lose to the Giants? I don't remember.
They
that.
lost to the Giants. Giants
When?
have a 97 record.
I don't
Let me
remember.
just point out. I just want to point out the Giants was 7-7,
You think
and
that
then they
means
won
I
the
don't
last
remember.
2 games to sneak into the playoffs. They were 7-7, and at that point in the
is
season,
all
a
your
lot
fault,
of people had given up on the Giants, and the attitude was, so even if they somehow get into the playoffs and get lucky, they're not doing anything anyway. That was the attitude. That was the attitude, and they won the Super Bowl. You
This is
get it.
all
It depends
all your
how
fault,
you're playing
Keith.
at that
All your
time of the
fault.
year, at that moment, whether you can put it together or not.
I want to see some
Gentlemen,
things actually happen.
Since we are on the subject of football, can we segue into that, please?
Well, we just got
Jason's
one
been
more MLB
painfully
note.
waiting for
There's a
some
lot of
football.
haters
Just,
going on in
We
this
just got
show.
one more MLB note. Cincinnati Reds outfielder J.J. Belday hits for the cycle. It's the first cycle that the Reds have since Ely De La Cruz in 2023. It's just a note. I don't think it's a big deal myself, but it's a note. Anyway,
It's a nice,
go
it's
into
a
the
nice-
NFL. We had some preseason games last night, but let's get into some of these questions that I got to ask about the preseason. Well, in general, Patrick Mahomes is extremely confident that he's going to play Week 1. How do you think his performance will be for the rest of the season after that, though? Once he starts, do you think he'll be back to his old Patty Mahomes, or is he going to be back to like last year?
I think the Chiefs are one of those teams that people want to bury because, again, we build people up to knock them down, as we talked about a little bit earlier. And I think the Chiefs are going to be very good, and I think Patrick Mahomes will be very good. I think getting a steady running game, if that comes to fruition, with who's there? Who's the running? Kenneth Walker will do wonders for that offense and Patrick Mahomes. So I expect him to have a Patrick Mahomes-like year. But if he doesn't throw for 40 touchdowns, people are going to say he had a bad year. But he's still the top quarterback in the league.
We're not giving our preseason predictions right now, but we're going to talk about teams and players. So we're not going to hide the way we think right now. The Chiefs remind me a little, and Keith will remember this. I don't think James or you will, Brian. I'm going to relate to baseball. The Yankees, when they had their dynasty, they went to 14 World Series in 16 years. And after going to 5 years in a row, in 1965, they were one of the weaker teams in the American League. And people are thinking, well, it's an off year. They'll bounce back the next year. And they didn't. They were a weak team for the next few years. And that kind of reminds me of the Kansas City Chiefs. There are too many good teams. Their favoritism is over. Those days are over. They had a great, wonderful run. But the Chiefs are no longer the team they were. I think Mahomes could still be the quarterback he was. I'm not selling him short at all.
So they have the best
Kenneth Walker, Kenneth Walker coming off being a Super Bowl MVP, it's all glamorous. Is he going to really give you more than Pacheco gave you? Is he really going to do that?
Yes. I'm sure. I mean, I'm going to tell you why. You mentioned one half of the equation that's really going to help this team out to be like what Keith said. I mean, are they going to be Super Bowl champions? Who knows? I mean, it's a possibility. I just think that you're missing out on the key ingredient, like when Sean Payton and Drew Brees were together. It was magic. They stayed, relevant. I think having Andy Reid in the equation with the quarterback here, that's just what you need. I mean, if any successful team, you're going to always look at, to have a long run, you're going to always look at potential of having a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, Keith can attest to that. It's just what it is. It's just Sean Payton ultimately will be in the Hall of Fame. That's why New Orleans had the success. I think, and you can look at Andy Reid. Let's just not say he was a successful coach in Kansas City. He was also successful in Philadelphia.
They had the success. They proved themselves. They were great.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But my thing is, you still have, you can't count them out because the two people are still there and they're still successful. I'm just saying, and you're talking about a glamorous Super Bowl MVP and Kenneth Walker. You know how many running backs have had some great success and how to utilize. I mean, who knows how to utilize running backs better than anybody else? Not just in the running game, but also in the passing game. And Andy Reid. Let's go all the way back to Philadelphia. We're talking about a guy by the name of Brian Westbrook out of Villanova. That guy was probably one of the first running backs that size to do well as a runner and a catcher. And Kenneth Walker can catch the ball. They showed in his last season that he can actually catch the ball. So I'm pretty much thinking that he's going to utilize him a lot more different than what they did in Seattle. So yes, I think that Kenneth Walker will not only surprise people, but he's going to help allow Patrick Mahomes to recover, to get better, to take some pressure off of him, because there wasn't a great run game there. The last great running back that they had there was the kid that got in trouble. What was his name? That ended up going to Cleveland. The running back. And he came back. No, he came back. Kareem Hunt. I think that Kenneth Walker is in that same ilk, and I think he'll help dispel, especially kind of mask what the tight end position is not as great as it was. We know that Travis Kelce, he's long in the tooth, and the wide receiver thing, Rashee Rice. I mean, can he stay out of trouble? Hopefully, I just think that he's probably their best wide receiver. The fast guy, Xavier Worthy, he's just the top of the defense guy. There's nothing much you can get out of him.
You're questioning the Chiefs personnel. You're making the point.
Fair enough. But I think there's some things you can to mask some of those things. The quarterback and
I just want to point out you're praising to the hilt Sean Payton, which you should. In the Chiefs division, who's in that division? Sean Payton from the division-winning Denver Broncos, and Jim Harbaugh. Andy Reid has competition as far as great coaches go. And great coaches, not all of them are going to get to the very top. They cancel one another out every season to a degree. And so look at the other coaches he's going against.
Fair enough. That's why I said, do they get to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't know if they get there, but will they be continued success? Will they have continued success? I think so. I think I could see. I mean, we look at an NFC North a couple of years ago where 3 teams made the playoffs. So I could see the same thing where they don't necessarily cannibalize each other out. They probably beat other non-divisional teams and maybe split within the division. Because, I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to get swept. I doubt that. But I agree with you regarding all 3 coaches there that are in that division. Yes, it's going to be competitive.
I really think you're, and this isn't a slam on Peyton or Harbaugh, because I love both of them as coaches, but I think it's unfair to say they're on the same level as Andy Reid. Sorry. He's got the trophies to back up the fact that he's better than both of them. They got one between them. He's got how many?
Same category. I'm not saying who's better than who. But they're all 3. Sean Payton's a Super Bowl winning coach.
All good coaches.
Jim Harbaugh's a national champion coach.
But not a Super Bowl.
That's irrelevant, though.
Well, but you know what he could, and he took a team to a Super Bowl.
And that's what coaches are rated on. Coaches are rated on wins and Super Bowls.
100%.
That's what they
Jim Harbaugh had success as an NFL coach, a lot of success before winning in the NFL, before going to college. And now he's back in the NFL, where he's having success again.
He's a really good coach. I like Harbaugh a lot. I'm just saying Andy Reid, to me, is that if you'd maybe pick one of those guys, if I want to win this year, I'm picking Andy Reid every time.
Yeah, it's that room, Keith, that I mentioned, that room that puts all the greats together, but then you have that one special room where you can have a table of 5 people. Andy Reid will probably be sitting at that table.
Right. And I don't mean to disparage either one of the other 2 guys. They're excellent coaches.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I would agree with that assessment as well.
Yeah, he is the king, Andy Reid. I give them that one. Speaking of Kansas City, in their loss against the Buccaneers in preseason, which don't really care for anything. Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker boomed a 69-yard
Whoa.
field goal.
Gotta make it harder.
That's
Nine.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Gotta narrow the goalposts or something. And I don't like rule changes. You know me, I don't like rule changes, but it's really too easy to hit 65-yard field goals today.
But did you see that particular kick?
I didn't see it.
He had it right down the middle, and it had 5 to 7 more yards to go. It didn't just fall right like Dempsey's kick, right above it. He looked like he could have went for longer than that.
Right.
You know, before the show, James was talking about how they've made it easier for kickers, right, with some of the rule changes and whatnot. But to me, they're still too good for what they've got to do. Most of them, anyway. I mean, you didn't see guys years ago hitting, 98% of their kicks and hitting them from 65 yards without even trying. Look at the guy for the Cowboys. You look at him kick, I can't think of his name right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's 20 yards or 65 yards. He's got the same motion. He doesn't put any extra effort into it. And the ball just, part of it may be the K balls. They get to use, their own balls.
Modern athletes are just better.
Good.
They're just better now.
Kickers are going to start. They're going to start getting paid more because that changes the difference in winning a game. A particular specific game you might need to win, and you're right there on your side of the field, and you may need to kick one from that distance.
Don't you agree though? It's too easy right now for these guys. It's way too easy for these
But
guys.
I'm going to tell you, I don't know if kickers get paid a lot more for this simple reason. If NFL teams wanted to bad enough, there's so many soccer players in Europe who could adjust to a kicking game and learn how to kick a football. I think you could take a great soccer player who's never played football at all, and in the matter of, maybe I'm wrong here, and you could laugh at me if you want, in the matter of a couple of months,
all the time.
you might turn into a very competent field goal kicker. NFL
I mean, it happens more often than you think.
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, it happens more
there
often
are guys.
than you think.
There are guys that transition.
I would say about 25% of the league is like that.
Out and, volunteers who wants to try to be a field goal kicker. You go onto a roster of any soccer team in Europe, and a few of the guys would actually be really good, I think.
And there's 2 or 3 Aussie kickers that are in the league. I mean, European kickers in the league, period. You got a lot of the, I would say at least 25% of the kickers in the league are soccer players. They were
punters is probably more than that. There's a ton of guys in Europe, punters.
And the game has changed. Punters, I don't want to say become a little less important, but not as important as before because it's not a game of field position as much as
it definitely is still a game of field position.
Yeah,
you will get fired for having a poor average and not being able to kick a ball into the corner and go out. These guys.
Listen, I get it's about positioning at certain parts of the game, but if you have a 2-point lead, teams can move the ball, and with field goal kickers, how they can kick these long field goals. It's not what it was. I mean, it's as important still, I suppose, to an extent, just not as important as before. The whole thought with field position.
Well, the fact that we're sitting here talking about kickers for 5 to 6 minutes, you never would hear about this stuff, 20 years ago. Kickers were just kick the ball and shut up. Now kickers matter. So it's what it is. Next up, Deshaun Watson was booed after most of his drives. He started when he was in the game. And he said after the game that it was disrespectful. Do you guys agree with that?
He's got a lot of nerve talking about disrespecting anything. Deshaun Watson needs to shut up. You know what? Yeah, it is personal because you are a piece of trash who the NFL somehow let back into the league. I don't care whether you can play or not. He doesn't know what he should know what disrespectful is because he's one of the most disrespectful human beings on the planet. Do your job.
He was not
hold back there, Keith.
He was not.
I have to agree with Jack on that, Keith.
He paid a price. He wasn't charged criminally. He paid a price
Yeah.
financially and in reputational
Don't care.
damage as
Don't
well. Enough's enough. Judge
Don't
him
care.
with what he does on the football field.
All right, then he deserves to get booed for that too. He deserves to get booed on both levels.
Hey Keith, I will say you got to say, Keith, the way the climate is of football and other sports, and how women use their angle to be able to get money out of people. It ain't all on him. So you got to call a spade a spade. Yeah, you got to call it. Yo, man, come on, Keith.
It's not one, it's dozens. Come on.
But still not criminally charged, though. Still not criminally charged. That's the thing.
You don't give this
Bill Cosby went to jail. You can say that about Bill Cosby. He didn't go to jail. I mean, come on, man. That don't even make sense to me.
Because
the difference is, I think more people were just looking for the bag. I think a lot of people were looking for bags.
James, it's Brian. Deshaun Watson gets injured, and his home crowd is cheering that he gets hurt. I mean, that's
goofy.
More than disrespectful. That is really mean-spirited.
But he deserves every bit of it.
I mean, Deshaun Watson suffered a very serious injury, and he's trying to come back from it. Like a lot of athletes try to come back from an injury. He deserves a degree of support. Okay, if you don't want to support him, don't give him this hate. Like, how dare you try to come back as a quarterback? He spoke his mind. It is personal. You proved it, Keith, a moment ago. You have no use for Deshaun Watson as a human being. So you want to fade into sunset because you have no use for him as a person.
I find it hard, though, sometimes with people to do that, Keith. I would say this because people still boo and hate Michael Vick. My man served time. He actually, I mean, what is the thing that I don't get, that this country is a place of second chances and third chances and fourth chances and rehabilitation? Why can't somebody go to prison and do their time, come back?
Every instance isn't equal in my mind. Sorry. You get a second chance for some things. Some things you don't come back from. And you
who are you to judge in that regard? How do you come up with that yourself? I'm just saying, who are you to judge that? I mean, I'm just saying, the man went to prison. He went to prison for what he did. We got people out of here that do things that don't get busted for what they do. Or we got people in that have been accused of things and done things that's in high office. That's in office that do some things and haven't been charged for what they did. I'm just saying, man.
That doesn't give that. Yes, there are instances where guys don't get punished. I agree 100%. That doesn't mean you give somebody, let them off easy because they did get caught.
I'm not saying that you like a person. I get that. I'm not saying you like what they did. I'm just saying the opportunity for a person to have redemption in their life, and I can't judge how high that goes because that's not on me. I can't do that. I don't have that card to judge anybody. To say that you can do this or can't do that. That's not me, because I mean I'm imperfect myself. So I just have to look at it that way, is what I'm saying.
He's not the next Bill Cosby either. Bill Cosby paid and is still pays. His career was over. Everything was over for Bill Cosby. Everything. As it should be. As it should have been for Deshaun Watson.
At the end of his career anyway, basically.
He still had a career. He's a pariah within his industry and within his friends and whatever else. Deshaun Watson should be in the same purgatory. I'm sorry. I feel like doing the right to judge that.
The commissioner's office took no action against Watson, though. They took no action allowing
my point.
Let us take away the fact that Deshaun's off-field stuff, okay? And let's take away the fact that they booed him last year when he got injured, which is a classless act by the fan base. That's bad. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking mainly about his performance level. And he can say that his performance, it's not performance level generated, but dude, you went 5 for 12 for 36 yards and threw a parent pick. I mean, the pick was awful. And you don't expect to get booed out there.
Right?
He was uninspired in that whole game, that whole half that he was uninspired. I just saw like he was just throwing like I'm just
He's
throwing
been
the
under
ball.
fire
I
his
don't
entire
care.
time in Cleveland, Brian, right? I mean, look, just from a performance standpoint.
When he was playing, well, when he
He's
came
never been
back from
in
the first injury, he played a little bit better. I mean, he tried
a
to play
little bit
within
better.
his means.
He's rusty,
Now he's just
guys.
throwing the ball like
I don't know about Rusty, Jack.
Yeah,
That
he
I
ain't
mean,
rusty.
that's just way
He
too
ain't
much
rusty,
time
Jack.
to knock the
guys.
rust.
He ain't
If he were
rusty.
young, if it was a young
Windows
quarterback who's developing, let's say,
Yeah.
let's look at Shador Sanders. He's still developing. Okay, we'll agree. And if Sanders makes some mistakes, we're going to say he's still learning. He's still progressing. Young quarterbacks go through this. But if it's more so a veteran who's been off a while, who's trying to get it back, you know, he's got to learn again certain things, you know, and try to get back in the flow of things. And Deshaun Watson's got to work the rust off. It's that plain and simple. This is a guy who's a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback in his prime.
Wow.
In his prime, Deshaun
He
Watson.
was.
He's that good.
He
Well,
was.
let me ask you something.
But
Jack.
give him a
What does
chance
training
to see if
camp
he can
do?
get it
What is
back.
training camp to Deshaun Watson? Isn't it to knock off the rust? Once you step
But
field,
you're not-
I don't
you're
care if
not-
it's training camp or preseason game. That's knocking the rust off. Period.
Yep.
You're a
Yeah,
veteran
but-
quarterback. You've been in this
Wait.
league for how many years? You ain't knocking no rust off. Because
But
if you
it's
get
not
out there
a
and you
whole
start
game.
throwing,
Listen,
Who would he play against, too?
Jack, let me say this. What I think Deshaun Watson has done is he's a couple of things here. And this is just my opinion. I think a big part of why he's not playing well anymore is what happened off the field. Another part of it are the injuries. And another part of it is as he got paid already, guaranteed money. And so now he's probably just like, well, it is what it is. I'll go out and do what I can, but he's not giving the effort of that MVP level Deshaun Watson that he used to.
How do you know that?
I know it every year he's played for Cleveland. I know it every year he's played for
Jack,
Cleveland.
this dude
Those
played
numbers are
against
horrible.
This dude played against second and third stringers in the second half. And he was 5 for 12 for 36 yards.
And that's
Come
who he had
on.
on his
He's
team on his
he's
side
supposed
of
to
the
be an
ball,
all
probably.
pro.
Nah, he's done, Jack. It's gone. It left. For whatever reason, I think that's probably a culmination of those issues there.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. I think he got paid guaranteed $249 million. He don't have to do what he was. I mean, he had to work extremely hard to be Deshaun Watson in Houston. And he don't have to work hard like that. He got the money
you
now.
know when you're going to get your answer for sure about this little debate we're having. Next season, when he's no longer Cleveland Brown, he doesn't have a contract, and he's willing to play for very low money somewhere. That'll be a evidence he's got a passion to show he can still do it. Okay,
That'll be in the UFL.
We'll have an answer next year on that. Okay, I understand he's.
You want to see him on the Jet roster, Jack?
If you okay.
No.
If
This
it's
is pretty
gonna be
simple.
a
You should be yes.
quarterback for Trinidad Chambliss. Okay, I can. I could be okay with
That's
that.
our first
Yeah.
Trinidad Chambliss reference. All right.
I mean, and then if Deshaun Watson was playing really well, okay, I would keep Trinidad Chambliss, on the side for a little while longer. Under that condition, I can understand.
Yeah, because he's a great mentor. That's who I want mentoring my young
No, not
players.
mentor. You don't force a mentor on someone. And
I used the wrong word. I'm sorry, Jack.
Deshaun Watson been a good teammate. There's no evidence he's been anything but a good teammate wherever he's been. I haven't heard things about him not being a good teammate.
I wouldn't leave him alone with anybody I care about.
Oh, there we go. It's like a personal thing.
What? Yeah, character matters. I'm sorry, it does.
I mean, you got to give. I mean, Keith, you're allowed to have your opinion on that, and fair enough. I mean, I probably wouldn't want him around my family either. I just think that again, I don't think that again regarding talent. I think it fell off for whatever reason. It's not there. The optics aren't visible, and it's evident that he's lost it some kind of way. And he's not. I don't think he's going to regain that, Jack, just by putting him in the game.
Say this. I don't know who's going to be the starter now, but I will agree with Keith in this sense, and maybe you and Brian. If Watson is the starter, he doesn't get a big leash with me, not at all. The leash could be 2-3 games, something like that. I would be ready by the second game to bring Shedeur Sanders in if Watson is struggling bad. Watson has to understand, if I'm the coach and he's my starter, you better hit the ground running. Yeah, game one, you got to win it as if it was a playoff game. You know, you don't have a few games. You don't get comfortable in this starter's position because you're on probation as the starter, and I could pull that probation at any time and bring in Shedeur Sanders. So he would get the shortest leash to me of all the quarterbacks in the NFL if he were the starter. That I'll agree with.
Let me bring in a flip on that side. I mean, the other news I had for the Browns was Shedeur Sanders had a solid preseason game against the Buffalo Bills, going 9 for 11 for 74 yards in the TD and an interception. The interception really wasn't on him; it was on the tight end that couldn't catch the ball. It just bounced off his hand.
It was a little behind him. It was a little,
it was a little behind him.
But I agree with you. I agree with you.
On it. And
yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
Does this make the case for Todd Monken to make him the starter?
Yes.
It should. It should.
You need to find out what you have. Because you have a bumper crop of quarterbacks. Theoretically, again, we said the same thing last year. We didn't have a bumper crop of quarterbacks coming out. But theoretically, we have a bumper crop of quarterbacks coming out. And you need to find out where you have a quarterback. Deshaun Watson, regardless, is not your quarterback in the future. He's not. And you might as well play Shedeur Sanders and find out what you have. They're not going to the playoffs anyway.
And let me tell you, Shedeur was playing with second stringers, and you see what he was doing with the ball, man. He was dissecting that defense like it was like he was carving it up like a surgeon. And it was those balls were smooth, much smoother throws. It was relaxed. He was confident right there. I don't see the confidence in Deshaun Watson. Maybe that's a part of it, Jack. Maybe the confidence.
Listen, I agree with. I like Shedeur Sanders. I want him at some point this year to get to play enough to see whether he should be Cleveland's starter next year. I agree. But it might be a little better for Shedeur Sanders to ease him in the 4th, 5th game, just like ease him into the role of being the starter at some point. And if Deshaun Watson, by some chance, they start him and he's playing great and Cleveland is winning, then you ride him out, of course. I mean, with Cleveland, I think it's a wait-and-see situation. Yeah, I have a number of teams that are wait-and-see, like my Jets. I don't want Geno Smith to be the quarterback next year. But if he's playing really well this year, you stick with him. And
I'm calling it, Jack. Geno Smith's going to play well with that talent you have out there. I think he's going to play well. You got a great offensive line. You got a great running back. You got great wide receivers. And the guys you don't think that at tight end is good. I think he's going to be good too. I think Geno's going to have a comeback player of the year type of season this year.
Now, he actually did mention him, Rick. He did mention him at 48 mark of this show.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 48 minutes.
I'm telling you now. I know the way these things work out. No one believed me when I said Aaron Rodgers was going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler before anyone else. I'm telling you now. Trinidad Chambliss is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, unfortunately. They're going to draft him. The Jets are going to blow it, drafting someone like Dante Moore. But, it's what it is. That's
Sonia, they didn't announce anybody as a starting quarterback for Cleveland yet. They're still in that phase. I would tell you, based on yesterday's results and that preseason game, yeah, I would put Senator Sanders. It just I'm sorry, rust or whatever you want to call it, Jack. That dude did not have the look of playing football in his eyes. His throws were bad. He made some bad decisions, and that one interception was horrible. And he was on a 2nd and 13. There's no excuse for that. You're a veteran quarterback. You should be just picking apart defenses like that when they're 2nd and 3rd string. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. For all intents and purposes, he should be the backup this year. But they're not going to do that because they owe him $42 million or whatever. What's the amount of money they owe him this season?
Somewhere around right, 40. Yeah,
yes.
42.
So they want to get a return on their investment, which even the owner last year, Jack, said that we messed up on this.
What's the return?
It's been a terrible signing as it's turned out. I'm not disputing that. And don't know what's going to be with him next year. I mean, I suppose some team will pick him up. I can't imagine him not being on a roster per se. That's, as a backup at least. And
you got to show something. You got to show something for people to want you. At least some inkling of what you had in the past. I mean, and he hasn't shown. I don't think anybody. If he doesn't play this year, or if he gets benched, I don't think anybody will pick him up because of that the issues, the stuff off the field. It'll be too tough. Just baggage for a second string guy. You don't want a second string guy with baggage like that.
When the guy Ray Rice was out of the league, and so Ray Rice could never find himself back in, and that was unfortunate. That was unfair, in my view. But that's another
unfair.
situation.
But he had video footage. That's damning.
But
I
Watson's
defend
already
these people,
in the
Jack.
league.
It's shocking.
Take a flyer on him, and it'll be less controversial.
Unfair. It's shocking, Jack. I'm sorry. I have no other word, but
He cold cocked that woman, man, and they're still together.
But wait. By not allowing Ray Rice ever back in the league, who did they hurt the most? Him and his wife.
Really?
Okay, and he's still with his wife all these years later.
Yeah,
he's
irrelevant.
Still with her.
It's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
That is probably a dysfunctional relationship. I mean, because she hit him first. I saw that, but he cold cocked her, man. That's just
walk away. Don't lay your hands on a woman ever.
It was awful. But what I'm saying, suspend him a full year, and then and allow him back in at that point.
Don't let the out of footballs, though, guys. Beat women up, kill guys, do whatever you want, but don't.
But listen, we got a bunch of guys. What's his name? Rashid Rice. He's traveling like a maniac driving his car. He's allowed back in. I mean, come on. So I could argue that case too.
I mean, fair enough. These guys are football players, and so you don't know what's playing football. I mean, I get it, but if you have evidence of stuff, man, you gotta. I'm not saying to cut them off completely, but that was just egregious with the.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. We all agree on that.
And guess what, Jack? You're right. His career was over, and if he was still at the top of his game, he'd have been back in the NFL because Chris.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He was closer to the end, right? He was closer to the end.
We know full well if that was Patrick Mahomes, if he did the same thing as Ray Rice, he would be back quarterbacking the.
Oh, without a doubt. He just said that though. He has value. He has value. I mean, what's that guy that played for for Carolina, and he ended up going to Dallas? He had like guns and holding. No, that's a whole nother situation. But the guy, it's a whole other situation. The guy that had the girl hostage with guns, he was a defensive end, and he ended up playing in Dallas. What's that guy's name? He ended up going to MMA.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Don't say the wrong name.
No,
right. But either way, they let him come back and play. He got suspended. Dallas took a chance on him. I mean, he wasn't good anymore, and they ended up dropping him.
Chris is right. Chris had a comment a minute ago about the NFL being the most forgiving league, and he's absolutely right. Because if you can play, you will find your way back into the league. Look at Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is a shining example. Ray Lewis, involved in the.
Oh, what are you talking about, Sonya? Dallas wasn't called America's team; it was called Columbia's team at one time.
On some other notes in the NFL before we get up out of here, quarterback Michael Penix Jr. was cleared to take part in team drills and training camp. That's probably a great relief for the Atlanta Falcons at this point, considering that Tua's not doing very good in preseason. Again, I know it's preseason. Also, prayers go out to Philadelphia's running back Jaquin Jackson. He was taken off the field by ambulance after being injured on an opening kickoff versus the Patriots. Jackson was injured while making a tackle on Patriots Land Larson. The Eagles have announced, though, that he has strength and movement in all extremities and was taken to a hospital for further evaluation. So, young man, get better. This is part of the problems that we have with football. We tend to overshadow everything like rusty quarterbacks. We see something like this happen on the field, and it kind of makes you shut your mouth a little bit because that's some serious stuff. So
There's another
Anyway.
player that lost their 2-year-old as well to a drowning accident. I don't know who it was.
Oliver.
Oh,
Oliver.
Yeah, DT Oliver. Yeah, terrible.
The Buffalo
Terrible.
Bills, awful.
Yeah,
Broncos,
that's
awful.
terrible.
But anyway, we're going to close up this
Shout
show.
out to their family. Rest in peace.
Yes.
The child. Wow.
Prayers out to them as well. We're going to shut down the show, and we will be back next Sunday at 8 a.m. Please stay tuned for Keith's stream of consciousness next, and we will see you later. Have a great Sunday.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. Take care.
See you guys. Y'all have a good one.